Hello my guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are doing a short video, hopefully on capital ships, and in particular trying to rank them a little bit in terms of the kind of groupings you can get them in versus how useful they actually are, maybe depending what part of the game you're in. So to start off with, when you're an early game player, you get access to the Endurance, Home 1 and the Executrix quite close together. And honestly speaking, the Endurance is pretty freaking useless. The Endurance is probably the worst ship of the game, quite frankly. There are only two uses for the Endurance. One is the general Anakin Skywalker event, and to be honest, that is very easy because Anakin Skywalker carries the whole thing with fives. So to be honest, the Endurance can be whatever. And the other reason I use the Endurance is to sacrifice against the Executor to use up the initial barrage of attacks the Executor uses, so I can send in something else to clean the Executor up much more easily in Grand Arena. That's all I use it for. Otherwise, you can check it out the window. That is my one for this video. So, of the other two, Home 1 and the Executrix, which one is more useful? Honestly, Home 1 for the early game player, right? Because you stack in rebels. There are a lot of rebels you can get early on in the game, be it Biggs, Wedge, be it Cassian or Bistan, be it even the Millennium Falcon you can get through the Hyperdrive bundle very easily now. Ghost and the Phantom. These ships are mostly all in currency rather than farmable, which makes them much quicker to get. And the characters you need them for to pilot them also very easy to get. Most of them are quite quick. 7 stars with the double drops nowadays, and some of them are either Galactic War or even Squad Arena tokens. So Home 1 is always very easy. I mean, the best fleet I was finding to use is, and I used this for a long time, which was to have the Houndstooth with Home 1, because the Houndstooth is just such a freaking good ship that it could fit into any fleet. However, pretending for a second we're trying to either keep the Houndstooth just for its proper fleet, which is the Executor, or pretending that it is hard to farm the Houndstooth, which it is. The Rebels have a very good. I mean, you can talk the Raven's Claw, you can chuck in the Outrider. Those two ships are much harder to get, but there are a lot of choices when it comes to Home 1. The Executrix has a little asterisk next to it because as a late game player, it's actually very useful, but as an early game player, it really isn't. And we're going to come back to the Executrix in a minute. The next, I guess, ships we should get together are the Chimera, the Radis, and the Finalizer. Now, why are those three together? Because those three you can get from events, right? So the Chimera you get from the Artist of War event, I think it is. Someone's going to correct me in the comments and tell me that's the one for Thrawn, and the event for the Chimera is a different one. However, his ship is his ship in principle is very good, right? You have the insta kill move, and if you have the TIE Interceptor, 7 stars, you can drop that insta kill down by 1 turn because it is a very slow ship normally. The problem is getting the Interceptor is very hard for an early to mid game player, and the Chimera is freaking slow without it. It's one of the I think it's the slowest base speed ship in the game, and the ultimate is so slow to go through that basically the other person has won before you get a chance to blow somebody up, unless you're incredibly lucky. So the Chimera is one of those ones where if you have the right fleet, and again, it's next to the Executrix, there's another bit where it's a late game play ship, the Chimera now, like with the TIE Interceptor. Early game to mid game, it's kind of useless, quite frankly. The Radis has always been a little bit useless. I check out in defense most of the time. It does have a full fleet, which is nice, and Ray's Millennium Falcon does do a huge amount of damage if you get it set up right with the thrust maneuver. But honestly, it's a fleet that I just check on defense because honestly, to attack with, it's so wooden, for want of a better way of describing it. It's so clunky. It's hard to actually make the ultimate go off consistently. And Grand Arena style, for a second thinking about this, if you use the ultimate, you lose points because you lost your capital ship, so you lose points. So I guess, same with defense, to be fair, to some respect, in that you can win a ship battle on defense with the Radis, but if you did it through the Radis maneuver, you're not going to hold a second time. So the Radis, on the flip side, the Finalizer is amazing. The Finalizer is terrible to defend with, but to attack with, it is amazing. It can really cut through the Executor nowadays with the TIE Echelon, the ship from Galaxy's Edge in Disney, now included in the fleet. And with Kylo Ren Unmasked High Silencer, which is a phenomenally good attacking ship. You can really do a huge amount of damage very quickly. Kylo Ren's damage scales quickly based on the number of evades from Bradley during the match, and you can really easily start just one-shotting people, including the Houndstooth, by the end of matches against the Executor, because he's just blowing people away. Plus, the Finalizer being able to take a turn first to put Haunted on someone, which stops them being able to get bonus turn meter. Really nice to try and slow down that Houndstooth if you find the Executor. So, of those kind of ones in the middle, the mid game, honestly, Finalizer is much more useful because it gives you a chance to fight the Executor if you don't have one of the premium end ships, which is great. Now, then we have the guild currency ships. That is to say, the Negotiator and Malevolence. These two down here. Both of them are pretty much essential to your mid to late game player. Why? The Negotiator is a brilliant defensive ship. Not so good attacking. It's a little clunky on attack because some of the fleets have been designed to specifically stop the Negotiator in terms of turn meter and so on. And so it's not as smooth as it used to be. However, the Malevolence on attack is incredibly smooth because you can chuck different people in with that team and it'll always work. You can chuck in TIE Bomber and you can beat the Profanity. You can beat the Executive. I think you have to use the TIE Fighter, if I'm rightly, as well as, or the TIE Advanced. I can't remember which one it is, and I haven't done that kind of for a while, but you can beat the Executive with the Malevolence. I do not know if you can beat the Leviathan. It's brand new still, so I don't know if that works, but you can certainly beat those two what we would call galactic legend ships, right, using the Malevolence, whereas the Negotiator kind of falls apart against both of them. The Malevolence also has one other slight advantage, which is the Vulture Droid that's summoned by Grievous scales off the stats of Grievous himself. So if you have a Relic 7, Relic 8, Relic 9 Grievous, then your Vulture Droid coming in will scale off that beautifully. And it means you can get bonus ships for your fleet without actually needing to collect any more characters and any more ships, right? You just get bonus ships, which is very nice. Whereas the Negotiator and every other fleet, in fact, needs to have other ships. Now, the top end ones are the 3GL ships, if we want to call it that. I don't have the Leviathan, and to be honest, the Leviathan seems to be up here as far as I can tell. It can be beaten by the Profanity. I can beat the Leviathan. I've beaten it before with my 4-star Profanity, but it certainly feels like on attack the Leviathan beats everything hands down, and it looks like it's the best ship, not dominant, but the best ship. However, of the two remaining ships, which are a little bit more in grasp of most players, which is the Executive and Profanity, the Executive is possibly the best defensive ship you can get. I mean, the Houndstooth's survivability on its own is unreal. If you have a high level Beskar Mando to go with a highish level Cad Bane, I mean, it's very hard for most fleets to beat the Executive cleanly. Even the Profanity struggles to some extent. I usually beat 7-star Executives my 4-star Profanity, but I have been known to have a few wibbles here and there. If it's just an especially strong or especially fast member of the other team, you can really screw up your turn order and so on. At the same time, the Profanity, I would say, is probably the best attacking ship in the game. Yeah, as I said already, you can beat the Leviathan with the Profanity, you can beat the Executive with the Profanity, you can beat the Profanity with the Profanity, turns out. Nothing can stop it. On attack, it literally tears through everything like a hot knife through butter. Defense less good. The AI is not as clever, the AI is not as good at actually doing the right maneuver, which is why mirror matches are actually not too bad, even against higher star level Profanities, because the mirror matches are played by an idiot, which is the AI. So you can kind of work around it. But on attack, best, no doubt. Now, the biggest drawback for most players is what you need to get, because the Profanity you need Relic 9, Radis, Relic 9, Castanando, Executive, Relic 8, Boba Fett, Relic 8, Piet. Relic 9s are hard to get. I mean, they're hard for me to get, right? And I have almost 9 million GP and 5 GLs, right? They're hard for me to get a consistent supply of Relic 9 materials. So, which ship would I go for if I had the choice? And I was in the say I was 5 million GP and I was trying to pick which ship to go for. It would completely depend on my guild and my guild's ability to get that tier 3 currency in particular, I believe is the right one you need. Can I get that consistently? If I can get that consistently, I'd probably go Profanity over Executor, because whilst I know my defense wouldn't hold up as well, I know I could beat almost anything with it. Like, it really takes a strong Executive Fleet, Relic 9 Piet, high level Bosk, high level Mando, high level Cad Bane, so on, or a 7-star Leviathan with all the associated bits to go with it, Malgus ship and the like, right? So, which ship would I pick? Profanity. Now, one last thing. I did say there's an asterisk next to Tarkin and the Chimera, Tarkin especially. That's because if you can get the Scythe, and you can get the TIE Defender, and you can get the TIE Interceptor, to the 3 newest Empire ships that all came out in the past 12 months, if you get those 3, then the Executrix can basically beat everybody except the Leviathan, and possibly can beat I don't know if it can beat the Leviathan, to be honest, but basically if you can get the Scythe, and you get that TIE Defender, and you get a high level Interceptor, nothing can stop you, just about, because those ships buff up all the stats of your ships. They make the ultimate go faster. They make the reinforcements go faster, except when you find the Profanity, of course. So don't watch out for that, of course. That's the thing in the kit of Admiral Radis. And that Executrix / Chimera can beat pretty much anything. I say / Chimera because actually the Chimera beats the Executrix, I think, on personal experience, slightly easier than the Executrix does. But they both kind of work. Tarkin, I think, works slightly better because he has, as I said earlier on, he is faster than the Chimera. The Chimera is inherently incredibly slow. So it's just faster to have Tarkin going through his turns quicker, to get to his ultimate quicker, to get the race buffs quicker from his specials as well. So, which ship would I go for if I could get any? Profanity. Which ship would I go for in the middle game when I had guild currency? I go General Grievous because of the fact that you have the character based off of Grievous himself, so you get a free ship each time, or 2 ships to be honest. Which ship would I focus on early on in the game? For this bit here, Finalizer, and the very first bit, Hull 1. Hopefully it helps a little bit. I'll try and do a video maybe actually on the ships themselves, talking about which ones are most useful to get early on and so on. But like, subscribe, and I will see you guys all next time.